Eric, how do you sum up the reaction to that?
Yeah, it's difficult, and I'm not going to lean into my frustration too much, because you can imagine how it feels in the dressing room, you can imagine how the staff feel, so I can talk about it as objectively as possible, but I think ultimately it's the worst way we could have possibly lost the game. I think the nature of losing the game in that way, the nature of some of the stuff that goes with it is obviously very, very difficult to swallow. But as is always the case, as I think I am as a person, the staff are as people, we will live to fight another day, and we'll make sure come Friday when we have to pick the group up and go again, we'll be positive. But I think that will go down as one of the tougher ways to lose a game, I suppose.
The stuff that goes with it, what are you referring to there?
Well, obviously Kelvin's injury early on in the game, the fact the game goes 120 minutes, the fact that we obviously concede 2 goals that are almost entirely avoidable and almost entirely of our own doing, which is hugely frustrating. And I think you weigh that up against 120 minutes of really hard work, getting ourselves back in a game, the game being very even. Listen, it wasn't a classic. I don't think either team will write home about their performance, but we were in the game, and sometimes cup games are like that, aren't they? And I think there's possibly an element of us looking at the clock and it being 120 and us switching off in a really unforgivable way. So it's really frustrating, and we've only got ourselves to look at in that sense.
I imagine Joe, Owen on that last goal.
Yeah, I think you look at Joe first. I'm not someone who pins an entire result on one individual, of course, but because it boils down to more than that, and we've had chances to win the game. I'm sure if I look back at passages of play leading up to that goal, there'll be various bits that we could correct in hindsight, but ultimately at that stage of the game, we have to deal with that run off Joe's shoulder better. It's something that is very basic to the way that we defend. It's something we talk about a lot, and at that stage of the game, it's a case of one player running more than another player, and obviously at that stage of the game, that can't happen. That is a case of us really letting ourselves down as a collective after what an effort it is to get to that point in the game. So that will really hurt Joe. It will hurt the group. It will hurt us as staff. But we got to get on with it.
In terms of the sort of tactics that you played going into the night, was Kelvin going down injured sort of the worst case scenario?
Yeah, obviously we're light in that position in general after Tani left. We're light in particular for this competition, given that Dieng is cup tied, so it throws a spanner in the works, and we had a couple of goes at sort of making it being really pragmatic with how we put players in that position. And obviously you put Rob there, you're going to get a certain type of connection with the players beneath him. Rob is much more of a linker. He's going to play between the lines. He's not going to give you the threat on the last line. And we opted for Bongi from 60 minutes onwards, and obviously Bongi's had a couple of really good chances. So I think it's sort of not for want of trying. It's not for want of that working to an extent, but it ties your hands. And I think that's not a position at this point that we can afford to be much lighter than we are. But again, that sort of points to the fact that we've encountered circumstances like this previously. We will find a way of making it work, and there's definitely enough versatility in that group to cover that for sure. So I'm sure when we look at it come Friday, we'll find the positives in it.
There were a few officiating decisions. Bakari's kick out, that was a yellow. Stuver looked like he touched the ball outside of the box. The goal, the first one was in the 4th minute, and they said there was going to be 3. Do you have any gripes with the officiating?
Yeah, again, I'm not one to stand up here often and talk about refereeing, but I feel like particularly with the Bakari one, the rationale for him not being sent off is that he's not kicked him hard enough. And as far as I'm concerned, that action 9 times out of 10 results in a sending off, and I think it was as clear as could possibly be. So I feel like that's one that we will question. I'm sure we'll lose some sleep over that one tonight. And then obviously the other points that you allude to are of course frustrating when you add it to the context in which we lost the game. But ultimately we're in the game. Penalties are there, and it's our own undoing, and it's not one that I'm going to pin on the referee.
Is your sort of immediate reaction to try to take something and learn from this game, or just sort of ignore it and try to bury it a little bit?
No, I think there's a combination of both in that. I think you've got to have a pretty short memory at this stage of the season where you make an argument on Saturday we're playing for another trophy, in the sense that we're still right in the hunt for the Supporters' Shield, but slip-ups at this point in the season are going to be really costly. So I think Saturday is another defining game. We're playing a lot of defining games at the moment. But I said to the players at the end, it can't go untouched. I can't come in and gloss over the fact that we've lost the game on the basis of a mistake or two mistakes that are entirely avoidable, entirely of our own doing, but they've got to then mean something when we go forward. So I think if there is a silver lining, if it's something that we grab onto, it's that we've got to take that pain, we've got to take that real difficulty that comes with losing in that way, and we've got to learn from it. And I said that if we see that again, we might as well give up, because we've conceded goals in a way in which, as I say, use the word unforgivable. They're unforgivable because it's controllable. There's so much about these games that you can't control. There's so much over the course of 120 minutes that you can't control. But in those 2 moments, there's a lot that we can. So I think we have to go forward, and we have to take that as a lesson, and we also have to take the pain that comes with losing a game in that way and make sure that it means something on Saturday and as we move forward.
Did you address the team afterwards?
Yeah, I said something very similar to what I've said up here. I don't think anything. There's no magic set of words that I can say that makes that situation disappear. I think everyone's got to suck up a bit of pain and hurt there. And I think when you lose in a way that smacks you in the face at the end and is so obvious, it's very difficult to gloss over or put any spin on the situation. We have to take a hard look at ourselves. We have to make sure we learn. We have to make sure the individuals involved really learn, and we have to make sure that we move forward. I think that's that fine line you're treading at this point. That it really has to hurt, and we have to know why it hurts, and we have to know why we lost the game. But we have another massive game in 2 days' time, and we've got a lot to play for between now and the end of the year. And we've had a phenomenal season up until this point, and we've lost after 120 minutes against a decent team. So there is no disgrace in that in general, but the manner of losing the game in that way is obviously hard to swerve.
Was it a hamstring for Kelvin?
It looks that way, but I'm not sure of the severity of it. It wasn't obviously so serious that he immediately had to remove himself from the pitch. He felt like he could give it another go. So I think by the time we get the imaging and whatnot tomorrow, we'll have a good idea. Good. Thanks, guys.
Boxy, what's the emotion after that?
Just huge disappointment. I think. First of all, just want to thank our massive support that showed up tonight. They were huge. I think even, pushing us on and later on when obviously fatigue was kind of getting to us. But I think just to lose and kind of the lack of concentration in the dying minutes of extra time, but also at the first half as well. It's so much of that was in our control, and to just have it come down to 2 lapses of concentration in the dying moments is it hurts a lot.
Is there a silver lining that it's correctable in a sense, or is it just that much more frustrating?
Every mistake's correctable, so it's just, but to be coming down to, what have we played, almost 30, 40 games this year, where like what we do is pretty black and white on the defensive side of the ball. So it's like we need to, find ways to see those games out, see the half out. Especially in games like this, was been here far too long, 7, 8 years, and we've been in that position 3 times. They don't come around too often, so it sucks.
Did you have any issue with Bakari's kick out? Did you feel like that should have been a red?
I haven't seen it at all, but if it's that far off the ball and he's kicked him, then right in front of the lines, but I haven't seen it at all, so I can't really comment.
What was the mood like in the locker room? How would you kind of describe where the guys are at?
30 guys about as down as I am now. I think we first 20 create enough chances where we can go up and puts us in a good position. But to lose it at the death is, that's tough.
How difficult is it now that you have to turn around and play basically 2 days from now?
I don't know. We're going to have to find a way. I don't know. I think typically on the back of tough results, we find ways to get wins. So obviously the league's our only focus. So by the time our heads hit the pillow tonight, we need to find a way to move on and recover and get ready for Saturday. 'Cause that's we've got to keep pace with the teams at the top and take care of business on our end, and you never know what happens.
I know that it's fresh and raw, but how does this compare to the 19 Open Cup final and 2020 Western Conference final?
Well, I feel like the other two we were a little bit closer to, but yeah, it's because it's fresh, and I think to host the final at Allianz would have been pretty damn special. But yeah, not to be.
Obviously, there's the physical sort of recovery that has to go on before Saturday, but how do you sort of try to recover from something like that mentally?
I don't know. I mean, I've had a bunch of setbacks professionally in my life. You just, I don't know, starts with showing up tomorrow with the right attitude and just doing the little things to get everyone positive and moving forward again, and then just refocus because obviously the Open Cup, but that's not the only silverware that we're in the running for at the moment. So we'll find a way.
What'd you think of some of the moves that Eric had to make after Kelvin left? Robin goes up top, then Bongi, Owen plays in the back line. Just a lot of different moving pieces.
Yeah, I think I mean, obviously the Open Cup, the roster's a little bit smaller for the game day, and then it's kind of just where our squad's at the moment. We have to do a bit of shuffling, and obviously we've got a lot of versatile guys who can do well in different positions, but obviously not ideal. But hey, it's just the hand we've been dealt.
Thanks for the time.
All right, well, have a good night, guys.